people sing around, the people gather around, the people jump around. Get your freak on, get your freak on.
Nah, this ain't that Missy, I tell you. Some of the best music was made back in the day. Anyway, what's up? My name is Vonell Lamore. You are tuned in to the channel. I'm representing WPL Marketing, and here we go with another video. I want to tell you guys a little story about my first car. So year 2000, my first internship out in Saginaw, Michigan. This is the summertime, and if you know anything about Michigan, there is absolutely, at least northern Michigan, there's absolutely no way to get around unless you have a car, which was different for me coming from Boston because you don't need a car. You know, you can hop on the train, the bus, and get around. And this is before the Uber days for all you young guys, before the Uber, the Lyfts, and all these ride-share programs. The only way to get around is you basically needed a car. They barely even had taxi cabs. So a couple weeks into my internship, I had to get a car. So I was looking around, and you know, being Haitian, there's only about 3 cars that you buy, okay? Toyota, Honda, or Nissan. Those are all the only 3. You don't buy any other car. Now, if you're fancy, you might get the Lexus, the Acura, and the the Infiniti, which are still Toyota, Honda, and Nissans. But for me, it's like one of those 3, the holy trinity of Haitian cars. So I was a Honda guy at the time, and you know, I was looking around for a Honda. But majority of cars in Michigan, you know, you got to remember Michigan, Detroit City, home of the, you know, General Motors and Ford and all these other major car manufacturers. And actually, I was working for a subsidiary of GM, Delphi, and so everybody was heavy on the American car. Like that was like to drive a foreign car was almost like blasphemy. You would think that you committed a crime if you drove a foreign car at the time. So anyway, I was still a Honda guy coming from my background, and that's what I believed in. So I looked, and I found this 1988 Honda Accord. Don't know if it was LE, LX, didn't have leather, but it had the flip lights, had a moon roof, or sunroof, had automatic everything. And you know, it's funny when you fast forward a few years later, the idea of having automatic windows was a super luxury for me at the time, or for everybody at the time. In the days where some people had roll-up windows, having a car that had automatic windows, like electric windows, was like a wow. So me at 18 years old, having a car that first of all moves, but second of all has electric, it had a tape player, you know, again, sunroof and the flip-up lights, great. Now, being in Michigan, it did have rust over the wheels, but you know, to me it was like gold. And I remember, you know, saved up a couple checks. I got it. I drove it, you know, into work, and literally I got the looks of death, you know, because I'm driving into a General Motors parking lot with a foreign vehicle. And you know, we can get into what all the implications around that. But I love the car, and I kept the car through the rest of college. I drove it from Michigan to Atlanta to Boston, Amherst. I drove it during my days of of becoming a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to Noobs. It brought me to class, dates, all over the place. And I kept it till the wheels literally fell off. It got rusty, again, living in the north, living in places where there's snow. It got super rusty. There came a point where the car got so bad that in order to turn the lights on, I had to like take out the fuse. But when I took out the fuse, the windshield wiper would go on. So it was like either have lights or windshield wiper, whether it was raining or not. That's how I had to drive around. And I just kept driving it. And it's like, why am I talking about my car, right? Why am I talking about my first car? Well, the thing that comes to mind with that is that, well, first off, I probably would never drive a car like that again in my life. But for the time that I had it, even though it wasn't the most luxurious car, I bought it with a gazillion miles on it. Nobody wanted it in the area that I bought it, but it was a useful car and it did the job. It got me from A to B. It got me to my internship. It got me to my job. It got me across the country when I needed to pack my stuff and go back home, back to school, from Atlanta back to Boston, from Boston later to Amherst, and even after that to my first job. That's the car that brought me to where I needed to go. That was the vehicle that I needed in order for me to do what I needed to do. And I got made fun of, you know, but here's the thing. The girlfriend I had at the time didn't care, right? When I picked her up to go to the movies, did not care. My boys had no problem getting in the car and going to the party and going to wherever we needed to go, picking them up from the airport. Nobody had a problem in it, except they still made fun of me though, because they had rust. You know, it turned into what we call a HOOPTY. But my whole point is that sometimes, especially when you're first getting started, you can't worry about being fancy. Yes, you know, I need a safe vehicle and all that, but I just needed an A to B vehicle. And so as I do these videos right now, I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have a lighting, my setting. I'm in the car, for Christ's sakes. But this is doing what I needed to do. I started the YouTube channel just a few days ago, and I'm already at over 100 views. I have almost 20 subscribers, tons of comments, deals already in place. Now, this is off of talking in my car and trying to bring value to whoever's watching. And it's sort of a testament that we need to just stop being fancy, right? Go back to that HOOPTY days where you worry about A to B. Stop being fancy. Let's get this job done. Let's continue whatever it is that you want to get started, all right? So let's tune in next time. I got a lot of more messages for you. I got a lot of more content for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, you know, what are we, 7 minutes in listening to my story. I'll catch you guys on the next video. All right, take care.